Hey, good morning, everyone. Friends, family, followers, and stalkers included. Coffee time. It's been a busy morning already. More like a Monday. Of course, yesterday, I know everybody was very, very busy working. It was a very different dynamic all day yesterday, and had some great interactions with a few folks. Oops, excuse me, some of the creamer on my fingers. Bad manners, but not putting it on a napkin. I'm eating it. Hey, Kim. Lots of interesting questions yesterday, so I'm going to jump in. Well, first I got to taste this coffee. It's so great. I use regular coffee during this coffee break, and then I just put the keto creamer in for the MCT oils, which is that fat that you can't store, and it also helps to dissolve and break the fat that you already are storing. And then it also has something that Cheryl and I have been using for many, many years in different forms, chromium. A lot of people know about chromium. Those of us who have tendencies to go diabetic should specifically consider using chromium as a supplement. Not just any chromium as a supplement, but there's a three-part chromium that's, well, in this one it's got the Chromium Polynicotinate versus Chromium Picolinate, which is, or picolinate, which produces picolinic acid. And if you know about picolinic acid, that's something your body's trying to get rid of. So we don't eat chromium that's attached to picolinic acid. We use, or picolinate, we use the one that's chelated with nicotinic. So polynicotinate, which is a niacin base. So that's why it's so effective. That's why it makes such a difference with handling sugars and carbs, because it bridges the gap between what your cells need to use it, and that way you're not spiking your insulin, because the moment you spike your insulin, then the insulin goes around looking for sugars, and then you eat some, and then your blood sugar falls again, and all that was found gets put in storage. So that's another lesson. Again, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not your nutritionist. If you have any questions about your diabetes, you should definitely get a checkup and listen to your doctor. And then if you find something interesting about what we have to say, and if you see results of people having better hair growth because their blood sugar is more balanced on a regular basis and their nutrition is all, then feel free to follow the lead. So good. So also I wanted to talk about, yesterday somebody said, what about the yellowing of hair? And why does hair yellow? You know, Cheryl and I, obviously we use a little bit of chemistry to get our hair as light as we possibly can, to the point of it's so bleached that anybody who has ever bleached their hair knows that to get it light enough, you have to bleach it to almost a point where it's breaking off. And that's why we're so effective at strengthening hair, is because we were out to handle our own hair by handling that very, very weak state that we get our hair to with bleach. And you may have seen a video on us, I think July, well, I know for certain July 4th we did our bleaches, so you can find that somewhere in our Belegenza feed. I think it was a live Facebook video. I guess we'll need to pull that down and put it into our YouTube channel as well, so it's easily accessible. And so anyway, we do bleach our hair, and that makes it very, very, very fragile, especially because we go so light. And we're always out to get rid of the yellow. So, but more importantly, I think the question came from someone who's already got gray hair, gray and white hair, and you know, when you're in a smoky environment, whether it's your own cigarette smoke or it's the cigarette smoke, say in Las Vegas, not that we know anything about being in a smoky environment in Las Vegas, you know, that attaches to the hair. And nicotine is a yellow, and then there's also oxidation, just plain old oxidation. Some of you watching might be old enough to remember Scotch tape. Scotch tape was clear when you put it down, but then after a while it turned yellow. So, you know, we have always been looking to handle, what we knew about that, let me back up, what we knew about Scotch tape is it was oxidizing. The plastics were oxidizing, the glue was oxidizing, turning yellow. So that happens on a regular basis with pollutants on gray and white hair. It specifically happens for people who are in a smoky environment, even if it's just for a few minutes, because really clean hair has a, let's see, I have to remember if it's a negative or positive attraction factor, and then the smoke has the opposite, so it attracts to hair very easily. That's why when you go to a club and you come out of the club, your hair really reeks of that smell. It's because clean hair pulls that. We handled that with our ingredients because they're food-based. They are actually in the hair and on the hair and wrapped into the hair in such a way where those nicotinic and pollutants don't hold on. They get there, but they don't attract to the hair itself. So it's on those ingredients. So that's the big difference. So anybody who's concerned with gray and white hair, I did a great write-up on that on one of our package pages. You can find it at Belegenza, and I wrote really the ins and outs and more of that explanation of why it works, how to keep your gray hair white, or keep your gray hair gray and your white hair as white as possible without that yellowing effect. So thank you for that question yesterday. I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any more questions, of course, private message me anytime. And I can also send you the link to that gray hair package if you can't find it. The easiest way to find it is just go to our website, and on the shop tab, just hover over that and it'll give you that, and click, and it will give you that whole set of pages, and then you can sort through there for the gray hair package. Okay, so you know, the other things that somebody asked is, how are you guys doing so many things, and almost why? And what we realize is that Cheryl and I know that our minds are always thinking something, and I'm sure you're the same. Everybody's always thinking something. So we make it our point to inventory what are we thinking. And what we realized is that if we're not working on a project that we love, like going to Disneyland, or finding that next ingredient, or handling that next ingredient with the others with our products, or finding, you know, being vain enough that we have to go find a way to stay thin for camera, we're always thinking, what's that thing that would forward our lives? Because otherwise, we just get caught up in mischief, like just sitting in front of the television kind of watching shows that we don't even want to watch. So I think everybody's got a little bit of that. If you're human, I think it's the human condition. We get spoon-fed conversations all day long at the news, in the news. Everywhere you go, somebody's gossiping about something, the newspapers, your tweets. And so we really do, I almost think we offend a few people because we're just not interested in certain things. And we find ourselves riveted to things that we are interested in, and we keep an inventory of that. And so, so back to why do we have so many streams of income? Why do we do so many different products? Is because we love great things like coffee. We love great things like great hair care. We love great things like great financial wealth building tools. We love hypnosis and certainty with Marshall Silver. So we design our lives to be in and around those conversations as much as possible. And there are always great playmates available in those categories. So when we inventory what we're doing, we see that our lives are really designed around those projects, those things that we do. Oh, water skiing, you know, those are the things that we do, we love. And so we pay attention, and and it's the same for everybody. When you love a product, whatever it is, whether it's Belegenza or it's a movie that you just saw that you love, you talk about it. And what we then do is we find the expert in that category. We sift through and say, well, how did you learn about this? And who taught you about that? And you know, with the internet, you can find people so easily. With Facebook, obviously, you can find people that are experts. And you can find out about them and get in touch with them somehow, some way, shape, or form. And that's what we do. And we just make friends because we're interested in what they're interested in. So it's easy to be friends with people who are, if they're movie buffs and they're always reviewing movies. And I do have a friend like that. She's at every opening of every movie. So I ask her first. Well, she loves to talk about it. It's her expression. She loves those movies. She loves being the first in line to see it. She loves seeing the movie that they show the secondary ending to see which one's more popular. And she gets to vote and say, this ending was the best. And then Hollywood does whatever they do with it to make sure that ending gets broadcast, so or released. So anyway, so the first thing is find a product you love. When you love it, use it. When you love it, find out who the expert is in that category, make friends with them, and then keep talking to them, be friends with them. And the next thing you know, you're learning that much more. So anyway, that's what we do in every category. So when it comes to water skis, I mean, if you want to know about water skis, ask Cheryl, because our dad and she, they know the people. In fact, they run the competitions here in the South Texas area, right there on that lake that you might have seen on Sunday at Mom and Dad's. That's our, you know, they're the experts in water skiing. And so anything I need to know about water skis and anything more that I don't even want to know, they tell us, because they love water skis. Now, I water ski pretty much when I get to the videos. We have some videos that you're going to love about me skiing. I'm pretty good because I hang out with great skiers. But when I fall, I am world class. In fact, I invented a new category. What was it, Cheryl, the other day? I invented a new category of, I'm going to try out for the gymnastic water ski, something like that. I mean, I fell like I've never fallen before, and Cheryl got it on slow motion. So we're gonna have to get that video published now that I'm talking about it. You can see my antics on the water. I mean, when I fall, I do it world class. So it should be like this whole other water ski. What? Yeah, like in competition, like who can fall the best and survive and not break anything and just, you know, have fun. So I do that very, very well from time to time. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about was people make fun of us in Texas when we say we're fixing to do something. And I think the people that make fun of us saying fixing to are the people who really are fixing to do things, because they just don't have a word for telling the truth about what they're not doing. So here's my definition of fixing to. We were running down the track, Cheryl and I, one day, and we saw two fellows in lawn chairs, and we realized, oh my gosh, those guys are pretty heavy, probably hurts their feet to run, and I know that feeling because too much weight. I've had too much weight at one time, many times. So I said, Cheryl and I decided they were fixing to run. They were at least at the track. They were at least in the park. They were at least near the track. They weren't like, they weren't in their lawn chairs at the lake watching the ducks swim. They were watching those of us who were actually on the track running and jogging. So we realized, oh, those guys are fixing to run. They just haven't gotten that far yet. So fixing to means you're just not doing that thing that you're fixing to do yet. So you're in the no doing part of it, which is fine, but you're fixing that. So yesterday I had to work with, not had to, but yeah, I did. Had to work with a few people on that concept. Is they were fixing to get productive. They were fixing to make more money. They're fixing to get their life organized. And in our 90-day process, some people are running up against fixing to, so to speak, finding out that it's when you inventory everything that you're really doing, then you also see what you're fixing to do. And when you realize you're fixing to do a lot of stuff all the time, in other words, you're not doing it, and you really wonder why life isn't turning out in those categories, it's because you're really not doing the things that are correlated to getting the result. So fixing it can be a sweet word or phrase or whatever you want to call it, term. When you realize what you want to have show up in your life, you have to have a plan to accomplish that. And we have a way of showing people in this process how you think you're already too busy to take on another project. And the new project really isn't that difficult when you know the right things to do. So we help you sift through, find experts to get you to give you kind of the roadmap and the blueprint to getting to that destination. and then we start scheduling it in and checklisting it, so to speak. We do lots of checklists on making sure that everything's ready to go. I mean, even for my coffee break, because I'm going to be tethered into here with a microphone, so it sounds a little better. I have a checklist of, do I have my coffee? Do I have my stevia? By the way, somebody said they just cannot find a great stevia. I posted in the comments, but just in case, have you tried Trader Joe's? That's a great stevia. Now has a good one, and these are not paid announcements or anything like that. Don't make any commissions on that. So just keep trying stevias until you can find the right one. And okay, so back to the checklists. So we do checklists so that we don't have to think about what there is to do. We just do it. And at the same time, we know we won't forget anything, or if we don't, we know what we didn't do. We didn't read the list carefully and we didn't pay attention. So we can put in the structure and the measure later to not have that be forgotten the next time. So, so anyway, all that to say, the other thing about this wonderful checklist that we do is that how many of you have ever had people not show up to an appointment, or they didn't show up on time? We have a checklist of things that could be being done, so that if somebody doesn't show up and you have an hour blocked out for that person, the moment you realize they're not there, they're not here, we go to that checklist and we start doing some of those things that could be done that have been put away for a long time. So anyway, we do a lot of fun stuff like that. All right, well, I'm going to end up, continue here with my coffee. Oh, I see somebody's asking about the vapes. Same thing, vapes, don't be so certain that those are good for you. Don't be so certain, don't be so certain. You know, there's a reason in California that they make signs that say no vaping here. They don't allow them on the planes. Come on, it comes from the same sources. Do the research. I'm just saying, do the research. Those vapes, I don't even know what colors would be added. I do know, you know, there's so many reactions. I remember in beauty school, in our beauty school, we had so much metal in the water that the moment we put certain chemicals on, it would turn purple. And it would get really, really hot. So you have to be concerned with what's in those things. And to me, that's not a proven science yet. So anyway, and it's not made of food grade ingredients. So that's a very important point for us to really be aware of. So anyway, okay, and as you see our Belegenza logo on this cute little cup, if you like it and you want one, I'm waiting for the first private message with your address in it, and we'll send it out to you right away. All right, well, enjoy your coffee. Oh, and by the way, I am officially at 8 pounds and a little bit less, and what's really, really startling to me is that I know it's fat. I know it's fat I'm losing because when I shower, my body feels different. It feels way different. So I'm very excited about that. And if you want that, let us know. We'll talk to you more about that. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe on YouTube. My name is Alan Eschenburg. You can find me there. You can also find us through Belegenza on YouTube. If you can't find us, poke around, private message me. I can always send you a link to whatever it is that you're interested in, and help you out best I know how. Or if you just want to chat. And it's always fun to find out what's going on with everybody. I'm going to see a lot of you next week out in a very special event. Very excited about that. I'm very sad for some of you who are not coming. So if you're watching and you can at all move your schedule, I promise this one's going to be over the top. I have he always over delivers in this conference. So if you can make it, make it. All right, so let's see, was there anything else? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, send out our page as much as you can, and if you're really, really watching this, let me know by putting in an emoji rather than just liking the video itself. At least put me a little emoji. I'd really love to hear some words from you. All right, thanks everybody, and have a great coffee break. See you later.